Oh, yeah. I got it.
Don't answer.
We have this wonderful class. To me, it's wonderful. Practical spirituality. And we meet up in this corner here so we can watch the, anyway. We provide a safe place in which to discuss the teachings of the Christ and the unity principles as they are applied in our own life. It's a safe place. We do not give advice. We do not solve each other's problems. But we have something to offer to each other. And sometimes it's pretty humorous, so I love it. And in that class is my precious mentor, my beautiful Gloria, but also, well, she's my mentor too, but the mentor I'm speaking of is Jerry Harrold. My life has been better since on her 93rd birthday, we went to her house for her birthday party, and I kept looking for an elderly woman. Somebody said, there she is right there. And so she said to us, why don't you go down to Unity down here at 50 Sand Creek Road? So we did. Here we are. But the thing that Jerry offers to the our class is the uncomplicated. As a matter of fact, she said, you know, when things get all kind of goofy in the class, she says, oh, come on, it's not complicated. Not complicated at all. We're divine. What more do you need? No, and that was a profound revelation to me. So, Jerry, I appreciate it. Anyway.
I love you too. Thank you.
You're my mentor.
Not complicated.
Well, so I went up to, Gloria is preparing for her 5 or 6 bead shows. She's a jewelry designer. And there was 5 shows coming up. And she knew that she better send the old horse to get some, out in the pasture, get some rest, because he's going to be putting a harness on these shows for a while. So, honey, why don't you go up to Medford and see your kids? Okay, that sounds like a good idea to me. And it was wonderful, wonderful. I did find out, my one daughter, Melinda, the youngest daughter, she is in lust or love or both with a complicated situation with a relatively complicated guy. He is a rancher, and his ranch is 90 miles south of Medford, down into California, at a little place called Montague. And so, and his ranch is a buffalo ranch. So she's going back and forth to the buffalo ranch. And he is the nicest guy. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do dope, he doesn't take recreational substances or take pills. He's intelligent, he's articulate, he likes to discuss things intellectually with her, and he has not, he doesn't, she's not the little cowgirl. No, get the brand, honey. I'm about to do the sheep here. So, no, Well, she went down there Saturday when I was there, and not there at the Buffalo Ranch, but at their house in Medford. And she had gone down to be with him, not help him, but be with him while he sheared the sheep. He has 24 buffaloes on his ranch, which is a sizable number. The thing with buffaloes is you just leave them alone. But being the relatively complicated woman she is, she went to Google. Remember, friends, your friend is Google. She went to Google and looked up everything there is to be known about buffalo ranching. And she's there for him in that way. Anyway, it's complicated. To me, it's complicated. She's a don't fool with Mindy kind of a person. So anyway, but the other one, Melinda, is the Buffalo girl, but Sindra is the quiet, uncomplicated person. She is a lonely, not a lonely, no, a solitary traveler. She goes to all kinds of places, you know, Lourdes, Maggiore, Assisi, the caves in France. She's been to Ephesus, Mary's burial place and church erected by John. She's been to wherever the Mother Mary has been. She's been there. And what she does, she works long enough to get enough. She has a pension as from being a teacher. And she works long enough during the school year to get enough money to go someplace. 15 years she danced with the Aman dance troupe all over the world. And she has developed a quiet, respectful, very meaningful to her with Mary. She said, Mary is just a single mom like me. And Mary took good care of her child and guarded and kept and loved her child. She told Joseph, who there's no record that they ever got, well, that's another story. Anyway, she said, there's no record of Joseph and Mary getting married. Well, Sandra was married, but she is a single mom. And in the time that the Christ child was born, she caused or had them move after Jesus was born to Egypt because Herod was going to kill him. So she has in her room a picture she bought when she was in Turkey a couple of weeks ago. A beautiful picture of a young woman. And she said, Dad, that's Mary. That's Mary. And you know what I'm going to do? As soon as I get a few more bucks together, there are 7 shrines in France. And I'm going to go to every shrine in France. I'm going to work out the plan and take off and go to them and just worship there, just be there. Because Mary and I are one. Oh, parentheses. I don't know if you know this or not. Well, you probably do because you're intelligent. But the Virgin Mary was a virgin since the year 1312. You got to think about that. Up to 1312, Mary was known as a young woman of marriageable age. What's this thing? Old mints. In 1312, the Pope wrote it in, what do they call this, in the papal letter anyway, that said, Mary is a virgin. And the Pope at that time was infallible. So therefore, Mary was not a virgin until 1312. That is parentheses. It's true. Oh, it was great. While I was there, I went to the discipline I used to follow, religious science. Got my doctorate in religious science. Wow. And they have one in Brentwood. So I said, oh, good, I'll go. And their pastor was, like a lot of pastors do, she was at some conference. And they had a guest speaker. Turned out to be Neil Donald Walsh. Yeah, Neil Donald Walsh. He's the guy that wrote
Conversations with God.
Conversations with God, Conversations with Humanity. There's a new book on the book table sitting there as I came in. He was going to be the guest speaker. So I thought, well, I'll get this new book. It's called, somewhere, I'll look it up. What's the name of that turkey? And
Number 6.
when I bought the thing, this lady who was doing the bookstore said, you know, I got something, I've had a couple of them, and I don't know what to do with them, but anyway, here's one for you. And she gave me a box of affirmations from Wayne Dyer on the word intention. So it was wonderful. So Neil Donald Walsh he's the kind of speaker that is like the 7 ways to 3 ideas that will change your life, you know. That kind of speaker, like the one that's talking about it's not complicated sort of thing. Anyway, his main function in that particular groove was accompany. Let's accompany one another. Be there for one another. Let that person be for you and with you. And I thought it was pretty good. One thing he said was adore your mistakes. Oh, okay. I had a little issue with that because, I'll tell you why. No mistake is made in the here and now. A mistake is always made in the past. You go by it and look back on it and you say, oh my God, that was a mistake. No, it wasn't. It was not a mistake when you did it. You did it and with the best of your consciousness at the time you did it. Now you're going to turn around and say that was bad? No. Come on. That was not bad. That's not, you can regret it if you want. What happened was, it's very simple. You just chose an option that was not the optimal option, but it was the best option available to you at the time you did it. So be kind and gentle with yourself. You never made a mistake. Not go ahead and adore it. It taught you something, surely. But so you did it the way you saw it at that time. So let's go on from here. I really believe that Jerry would say, it's not complicated. No, it's not. You know, you look at the Bible as a good guide as any, and the teachings of the Christ were so simple, so few, so simple. The two great commandments: love thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all your mind and body. And the second commandment, like unto the first: love your neighbor as well as yourself. Golden rule. I think the most beautiful of all of God's teachings through the Christ was the resurrection. You know, somewhere, like the only Jesus was only on the earth to do that last 3 years of his life in teaching. And as he approached the end of all he had to teach, he knew that maybe one last lesson of great importance. And that lesson was victory over death. We have eternal life. That was the lesson of the resurrection. We set the whole thing up, the whole thing. The idea and making the idea come into being. Setting it up so that the people of the temple, the Jewish temple, would be moved to ask the Romans, Pilate, to condemn this guy to death. But Jesus was in command of it. He did it, knowing what he had to do. But his teaching was so important that he was willing to walk through that process of crucifixion. That's a powerful lesson. The golden rule, yeah. I like the Beatitudes, and I guess that's about it. You know, so simple, such a blessing. It's not complicated. It's easy. Sometimes I think, I can't speak for you, but for me, it makes sense to me. I did religion for 30 years. I do writing now. But sometimes I think because it feels right to do so. I'd make my own church. You know, take a look at the unity principles and the teachings of the Christ, and make up my own set of final things and what I should do morally any other way. I wouldn't want you to tell Robert or Betty Lou. I don't like potlucks. Don't you? Do you? You like a potluck? Wherever two or more are gathered together, there in the midst of them is a potluck. So, my dear friends, my dear loved ones, I love you. I truly do. I truly love you. And it's not complicated. It is beautiful. And so are you, and so it is.